October 17th, former University of Kentucky student Sophia Rosing was sentenced to 12 months in jail for assaulting Kylah Spring. Nearly 2 years after the incident, Rosing appeared in Fayette County Circuit Court, where she was sentenced to 12 months in jail, 100 days of community service, and fined $25. Reporter Gianna Gallo has more on this story.
On November 6, 2022, 22-year-old UK student Sophia Rosing walked into this dorm room and verbally and physically assaulted fellow UK student Kylah Spring. Nearly 2 years after this incident, Sophia Rosing is finally receiving her sentence. On Sunday, September 6, 2022, Sophia Rosing arrived at Boyd Hall on the University of Kentucky's campus around 1 to 1:15 a.m. UK student worker and freshman at the time, Kylah Spring, was working a night shift as a desk clerk. According to Spring, Rosing did not look like a resident, and Spring did not open the door. Spring said when Rosing came into the lobby, she was stumbling and began talking to the elevator, appearing intoxicated. Spring later that morning released a video on her Instagram showing Rosing assaulting her and a UK police officer while using racial slurs. At 3 a.m., Rosing was arrested and charged with alcohol intoxication in a public place, first and second offenses, assault third degree, police officer or probe officer, assault fourth degree, no visible injury, and disorderly conduct second degree. 2 days later, UK President Eli Capilouto sent a campus-wide email saying Rosing was no longer a student at the university, suspended, permanently banned from campus, and is ineligible to re-enroll. After several postponed hearings, on August 21, 2024, Rosing pled guilty to 4 counts of fourth-degree assault, 1 count of disorderly conduct, and 1 count of alcohol intoxication. Today, Rosing appeared in Fayette County Circuit Court and was sentenced to 12 months in jail, 100 days of community service, and was fined $25. To gather more information on Sophia Rosing's trial and her sentencing, go to kykernel.com. This was Gianna Gallo reporting for the Kentucky Kernel. The Lexington Humane Society's Bark Bash on October 13th at Moondance Amphitheater was a possum Halloween event promoting animal adoption over shopping. Volunteers and attendees rallied to raise awareness. Our reporter Chloe Bradley has a scoop on this tail-tastic event.
A Halloween festival for your whole family, including your four-legged family member. Bark Bash is a pet-friendly festival with live music, games, and even a doggy costume contest.
The Lexington Humane Society hosted Bark Bash on Sunday, October 13th at the Moondance Amphitheater. Lori Tinscher, a Lexington Humane Society volunteer and foster parent, talks about how she hopes this event will encourage more people to adopt when they are looking for an animal.
I hope it'll raise more awareness for dogs with different abilities.
Throughout the event, attendees were able to cuddle and interact with adoptable dogs, as well as hear stories about animals who were rescued by the Humane Society. Festival attendee Megan Kelly was brought to the event by her friend, who is a volunteer for the Lexington Humane Society, and talked about how this event impacted her.
It has made me realize that there's a lot of dogs out there that need help, and I wish I could save them all.
Tinscher discussed why events like Bark Bash are important to have in a community and how they can help bring attention to the Lexington Humane Society.
It can help adoptable animals get adopted, get people to sign up for foster care, and just to show all the great animals that are available.
While Bark Bash was a fun and festive Halloween event, it also had the aim of promoting adoption over shopping for animals. Many animals present were adopted pets, and multiple pets got adopted throughout the event.
Lori here is ready for trick-or-treating. For more information on Bark Bash, go to kykernel.com. This was Chloe Bradley reporting for the Kentucky Kernel.
Thanks, Chloe, for sharing that possum story. Our reporter Jackson Reddish saddled up for a day at Keeneland on October 18th for their College Scholarship Day. On this day, Keeneland gives away $40,000 in scholarship money. This day is full of high stakes as students bet on scholarships while enjoying the thrills of the track. Let's check out this story. It's a winning one.
Today's a special day at Keeneland. Students from all over Kentucky come here today, October 18th, in hopes of winning $10,000 worth of scholarship money.
I literally was expecting to come here, watch some horses run, like nothing out of the blue. I've been here before, so it's like I know the vibe, but today was different. Today was crazy, and I would never expect this for my life, to be honest with you.
At Keeneland on College Scholarship Day, $40,000 worth of scholarship money is given out throughout the day.
$2,000 worth of scholarship money is given out at each race, and $10,000 worth of scholarship money is given out at around 4 o'clock.
You need money, and every dollar counts. $10,000, that's going to go a long way. I mean, I don't know if it's going to your bank account or anything like that, but $10,000 less dollars you have to pay for college.
Keeneland, of course, known for its correlation with college students, and especially at the University of Kentucky, it dates back to multiple generations of students.
So we used to go to school at University of Kentucky, and it was a big tradition for us. We would come all the time and loved it.
Being able to offer kids the opportunity to have, a $10,000 scholarship, that's massive, and I'm sure the kids that got it are absolutely deserving, so I love it. I think it's fantastic. My parents would be thrilled, absolutely, yeah.
Well, his mom also went to UK for a bit, so she would love it.
Keeneland is not just a place only for true born and raised Kentuckians, but it also allows people not from the area to experience Kentucky at one of its finest traditions.
I think for me it was super crazy. I transferred to Kentucky this year, so I'm a sophomore, but just transferred here. It's my first day at Keeneland, so I think I was just like, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, I guess, and this is just another sign of that.
Kentucky is a special place. I mean, there's a lot of schools you can choose from. Kentucky's special, and even things like this, these little things like these $10,000 scholarships, you can pick up in a day at Keeneland. I'm sure there's parameters, but this is a special place, and to earn something like that here is awesome. I think it's fantastic.
If you have any more questions about College Scholarship Day, go to kykernel.com. I'm Jackson Reddish, reporting for the Kentucky Kernel.
Thanks, Jackson, for this horse-powered coverage. The University of Kentucky's Dance Blue blew up the fun at their annual D-Bubble 5K Marathon, celebrating their 20th anniversary with a bubbly twist. Runners raced through a sea of bubbles, making this event pop with excitement. It was a foamy, good time, it all in support of Dance Blue's mission. Reporter Piper Renown bubbles up with more on this story.
The University of Kentucky's Dance Blue is holding their annual 5K marathon, and this year it's bubble themed.
Dance Blue is a registered student organization at the University of Kentucky that works every year to raise money for the Dance Blue Hematology and Oncology Clinic at the Kentucky Children's Hospital. The money raised through Dance Blue's fundraising efforts is donated to the Golden Matrix Fund. Every day, this year's operations chair for Dance Blue talks about her love for the annual 5K.
Love having the 5K. We love having it every year. I think it's something that brings, like I said, the campus community together, gives people in a lot of different student orgs things to do, and helps support a really, really wonderful cause.
The 2024 Dance Blue 5K was held at the Alumni Commons, with a virtual option for those who couldn't join in person. Snacks, drinks, and bubbles were offered with their official 5K t-shirt.
And to learn more about Dance Blue's 5K marathon, go to kykernel.com. This is Piper Renown reporting for the Kentucky Kernel.
Thanks for the bubbly coverage, Piper. The University of Kentucky Wildcats are set to face off against the Auburn University Tigers for their final SEC home game. It's sure to be a cause for celebration as the Wildcats look to end their home season with a roar of victory. Fans are ready to pounce on the action in this thrilling matchup. Reporter Drew Matanchuk has the inside scoop on this wild showdown.
With the football season winding down, the University of Kentucky plays their final SEC home game tonight against the Auburn Tigers. UCA fans before the game expressed their disappointment with the team throughout the season and what changes to make for next year.
The Kentucky Wildcats head into their final home SEC football game with a record of 3-4. UK fans before the game seemed disappointed in the recent losses. As the season progresses, more fans begin to question where the issues may lie. One such fan is Tom Weinman, who recaps how he feels the season has gone so far. Weinman says he's been a season ticket holder for 13 years, and he wants a little more out of the team. After a tough string of losses, all eyes are on head coach Mark Stoops, but UK fans remain hopeful and confident in their coach for the future.
Thanks, Drew, for sharing that roaring story. Accessibility has become a growing issue on the University of Kentucky's campus, with elevators out of service, walkways becoming slimmer, and most notably, limited parking for students getting around campus has become a challenge. Reporter Delaney Wells has more on how students are navigating these obstacles.
It's kind of a hassle to go through the whole parking process if you're off campus.
The other day I drove for an hour looking for a spot and could not find one.
I tend to always struggle trying to find a parking lot.
Students at the University of Kentucky struggle to find parking with busy roads, crowded lots, and having to pay $2 an hour at the Gatton Student Center. Lance Broking, Director of Transportation Services, says he is aware of the issues students and faculty have with parking and has plans for parking spots in certain areas of campus. He says there are plans for more spots in the main hospital garage, with around 800 spots primarily for patients and visitors. He also says the Board of Trustees recently approved an expansion on one of the South Campus garages. According to Transportation Services, there are 14,048 employee-type permits and 11,016 commuter and residential-type permits active as of October 4th, 2024. Another part of campus that has caused issues is elevators, with a few elevators that have buttons that are not working and one elevator at William T. Young Library being out of order. Mary Vosevich, Vice President for Facilities Management and Chief Facilities Officer, says the university works with the company DC Elevators for routine maintenance.
We have at least 2 of the DC elevator techs on campus every day.
For more information on the accessibility on UK's campus, go to kykernel.com. This was Delaney Wells reporting for the Kentucky Kernel.
Thanks, Delaney, for your coverage on how students are maneuvering these challenges. Lexington streets shine bright at the Lex Glow Ride, where colorful lights and reflective vests light up the night. Reporter Gabriella Mercedes pedals over to Cleveland Park to learn how riders are staying safe and having fun in the glow. Get ready to wheel into a bright night of biking.
With lights on their wheels and vests on, bikers are off for a night ride in Lexington.
Behind me in Cleveland Park, Lexington residents gather for the 4th annual Glow Bike Ride. This event teaches the importance of safety while riding your bikes and scooters, making sure you're in a lighted area. There's decorations, hot chocolate, and of course, the fan favorite, the bike trail.
Held by the Lexington Area Metropolitan Planning Organization and the City of Lexington, the 4th annual Glow Bike Ride helps teach residents about the alternative ways to transportation, such as bikes and scooters. With glow sticks and vests, all ages lit up the trail at Cleveland Park. But the fun lights are only part of the goal, according to Lexington Senior Program Manager Angela Poe.
I mean, just take a look. It's super fun to watch everybody roll out with their colorful lights and bikes, and it's a big community come together event.
Participants also learn about safety and how to be seen by motorists in the dark. And with the recent time change from daylight savings time, visibility is key to safety.
So we do this every weekend on the weekend of time change because the days are getting shorter and it's going to start getting dark really early.
Bikes and helmets were provided by local shops, and decorations were set out for riders to decorate their rides. The event was fun and educational for everyone. That is exactly what brought Aaron Renfro and his family to the park. Quality time with his loved ones.
We like to get out on the bike, and Leo likes to ride in the trailer. We do the Legacy Trail every now and then, but you don't get to be able to get together in a group and take a night ride very often, so it's kind of a cool event.
To learn more about the Lexington Glow Bike Ride, check out the Kentucky Kernel website. This is Gabriella Mercedes reporting for the Kentucky Kernel. Thanks, Gabriella, for telling this glowing story. UKPD is ramping up security measures once again following a recent shooting near campus. For the second time this semester, UKPD has announced increasing patrols in the north area of campus to ensure the safety of staff and students. Edward Smith has more on this story.
With boarded up windows and broken glass serving as reminders of yet another shooting near UK's campus, UK's police chief says the department is again increasing its security measures.
We're taking more of an aggressive approach than we ever have.
For the second time this semester, UKPD is announcing increased patrols on the north part of campus. The changes come after a Sunday morning shooting at Raising Cane's off Winslow Street.
This is not going to be tolerated around our campus or on our campus.
The shooting left bullet holes in the windows of the eSports Lounge and students in the area running for cover.
Kind of frightening, because I'm not really used to that.
UK freshman Uchenna Wafia was behind the register at Raising Cane's when shots rang out.
So my manager screams at me to get down, and I get down behind the counter, and there's just a bunch of people running outside of the restaurant.
Sunday's shooting was not a first for this area. Early in the semester, 2 men were shot near this intersection. For that reason, the police chief says students will see more officers patrolling by foot, bike, and vehicle on weekends. Additionally, UK has installed large temporary floodlights on Winslow Street and will limit entry to nearby parking garages, all in an effort to make the area safer for students.
I think it's a safe campus, but there definitely needs to be a little bit of changes to where college kids, because college kids are over there all the time. If there's that much problems going on in that area, something needs to be done, because those are your students over there.
The department is also currently evaluating plans to add more cameras, permanent lighting, and these blue emergency towers to this area. On the north side of campus, I'm Edward Smith for the Kentucky Kernel. On Saturday, November 9th, 2024, the city of Lexington came alive with the vibrant colors and sounds of the Festival Latino de Lexington. Now in its 20th year, this annual celebration honors Latin American art and culture in a way that feels like a love letter to the community. Reporter Jackson Reddish takes us inside the festivities to explore how this beloved event continues to bring people together in the celebration of diversity.
A day full of live music, authentic food, and celebrations can be found here at Festival Latino de Lexington at Masterson Station Park in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month. On November 9th of 2024, the city of Lexington hosted their annual Latin Festival, a tradition that has been kept alive for 20-plus years, and it pays homage to Hispanic Heritage Month. This festival was supposed to take place during Hispanic Heritage Month, but was delayed due to the effects of Hurricane Helene. Alfredo Sosa, who is a father, a first-generation U.S. citizen and resident of Kentucky, thinks the festival is a great way to promote his culture to his younger daughters.
Trying to instill traditions that were brought onto me from my parents as far as food, culture, and just surrounding yourself with how I was brought up to my younger daughters.
Sosa was then asked if he would bring his family back and experience the festival again.
Oh yeah, 100%. For my kids never going to any kind of festival like this. They're already can we come back next time? So yes, that's not going to be a question.
From 2 o'clock to 10 o'clock, they provide live music such as DJs, mariachi bands, and bachata. You can also find dancing along with visual art performances. The festival is known for their many food vendors that sell food from various Latin regions. You can also find many informational booths and local artisans so that visitors can observe and learn more about Hispanic culture. The festival provides many vendors to showcase their work and culture. Paulina Sanchez, born in Acapulco, Mexico, and moved to the United States at age 14. Sanchez uses the festival to showcase what her and her family used to do back in Mexico.
The way we survive over there is selling and doing our own products. And then we came over here to the United States when I was 14 years old. And now we kind of introduce and show to the people what we do, what we used to do in Mexico. It's interesting because our products that we sell and we offer is hand painted, and a lot of things what we show in our arts is different designs, different things, and it is important for people to know that we made it by hand.
Sanchez was then asked why this festival is important to her and other vendors.
So it is important to show my culture, my products to the people so they can know what we offer.
If you have any more questions, of course, go to kykernel.com. I'm Jackson Reddish, reporting for the Kentucky Kernel.
Thanks, Jackson, for covering the Festival Latino de Lexington. In honor of Veterans Day, UK students gathered at the Gatton Student Center on Monday, November 11th, 2024, to create and write heartfelt cards for veterans. It was a meaningful way for students to give back and show appreciation to those who served our country. Reporter Chloe Bradley captured this heartfelt story.
University of Kentucky students looking to give back and honor those who served our country gathered on campus to create and write cards that would be given to veterans in order to show their appreciation of their service.
The Office of Student Organizations and Activities hosted a card making for our Veterans event on Monday, November 11th in honor of Veterans Day. Students were given the opportunity to come and decorate a card and write a note to a veteran to show their appreciation for the service they gave to the country. Jacob Hampton, a UK student, discusses how being from a military family has pushed him to volunteer at events like this one. Hampton discussed his passion for helping veterans and how events like this one are important to a community as they provide opportunities to give back. Ella Foster, also a UK student, discussed how she was impacted by the event as she has an uncle who served in the military, and was excited to tell him and the rest of her family about how she attended.
They were all like, that's like really special that you did it, like, you know, someone's gonna get this card and it's gonna like mean a bunch to them.
This event allowed students to give back on a day of celebration to those who have given so much to their country. For more information on the Veterans Day card making, go to kykernel.com. This was Chloe Bradley reporting for the Kentucky Kernel.
Thanks, Chloe, for crafting this heartfelt story. Reporter Jackson LaCroix turns up the volume on this story as we step into a world of 90s nostalgia at the Back to the 90s Silent Disco hosted by Burl Brew in Lexington, Kentucky. With wireless headphones and 3 DJ-curated channels, attendees dance to their favorite hits in a vibrant, interactive atmosphere. Let's tune in to this story.
Tonight at the Burl, the 90s are back. This unique event brings all your favorite 90s throwbacks and classics through a silent disco experience.
On Friday, November 15th, event goers wore wireless headphones, grooving to live DJ sets on 3 different channels. Cassie Cunningham, co-owner of Silent Disco Experience, shared why these events are more than just dance parties.
Seeing people get weird. I love seeing people get weird. I love it when they are like breaking out of their shell and they come in and they're scared and they're timid and then all of a sudden they're having a freaking fantastic time.
The event offered more than nostalgia. It created a personalized experience. Each headphone channel provided a unique playlist of 90s classics, from pop to hip-hop and even country. For Chi Billingsley, the experience offers a home for people with different tastes to come together and dance with one another.
So it was nice for me to be able to listen to my kind of music while she's listening to her own.
While the music may be combined to the headphones, a different sound fills the room, which Chuck Gunderson best describes as...
It's just like... you know.
As the night continued, the energy grew. Jacqueline Clem, a returning guest, described the unique environment.
You're together, but you're not. Then I'm very out there, so I like going to those people who are like quiet and not dancing and getting them moving too, so.
The 90s came alive again at the Burl, proving that the music of this iconic decade remains timeless. Events like this not only revive memories, but also bring the Lexington community together.
To gather more information on Back to the 90s, visit kykernel.com. This was Jackson LaCroix with the Kentucky Kernel.
Thanks, Jackson, for hitting the right notes with your story. Curtis Kaiser, with his trusty 1961 Smith Corona Skywriter, has been typing poems for free for strangers in downtown Lexington since Halloween of 2023. With 4 typewriters in total, he penned nearly 300 poems. Our reporter Bryce Toll caught up with Kaiser to share his poetic gift to the community.
Fresh roomies, here we go.
Downtown Lexington is often a predictable experience, whether that be some good music, good food, or just a good time. But who's expecting a poem?
Okay, fair enough.
He's a poet, and he certainly knows it. Curtis Kaiser becomes wiser with each poem he will write, typing away in downtown Lexington during the night.
Kaiser got his free poetry idea after finding a 1961 Smith Corona Skywriter in his attic. So he blew the dust off.
And it worked, and it was pretty cool. So I started messing with them and kind of got 4 typewriters, and I thought, well, there's probably something I could do with these.
Now, Curtis has been typing free poetry for over a year. and crafted nearly 300 individualized poems for strangers he meets.
Y'all think of a subject?
On the streets.
All right, cool.
Curtis says the key to his success is the fact that he doesn't make a schedule, because then it just turns into a job.
Oh yeah, you're definitely framing this.
The last thing I want to do is make this kind of fun activity really structured and like beholden to somebody, because it's like, well, that's what my day job is for. I don't want that here.
During Curtis's day job, he's a mechanical engineer on a helicopter structural modifications team. And outside of making poetry for others, he doesn't practice or read much poetry, saying he doesn't want to imitate the styles of others or take this too seriously and throw handcuffs on it.
I'm really trying to be genuine and just deliver something that comes from me to somebody else. So trying to make sure I don't turn to some kind of funky like street performer or something like that. But it's been all kinds of reactions, never angry though.
I love it so much.
Bada bang.
And he doesn't just do poems. Curtis can write, or should I say, type, anything.
I can do limericks, I've done haiku before, and I've done like free verse, I've done fortune cookie kind of stuff. I've done anything and everything.
Curtis estimates a good 60% of people passing by stop and ask for a poem. He's even had people wait in line for up to 30 minutes. But once the poem is complete, the reactions show it's all worthwhile.
I love my poem. I think this is like a crazy gift that he can just hear so few words and then all of a sudden like can rhyme everything so quickly.
There's nothing more city than this.
I think it's a really cool idea. I think it's really fascinating to be able to meet other people and they start opening up because they will think about a topic that they really enjoy, or it's just a really funny thing to be able to get a funny poem about something that they enjoy.
So next time you're out and about, don't be surprised if you hear the question,
what would you want a poem about?
Because you might just end up with one. In Lexington, reporting for the Kentucky Kernel, I'm Bryce Toll.
Thanks, Bryce, for typing up this story. Former Secretary of Housing and Urban Development Ben Carson visited the University of Kentucky's College of Nursing building to deliver his Surgeon to Statesman lecture to students and community members. Reporter Michael Henning covered the event. Let's take a look.
Each one of you has the ability, regardless of what area you decide to pursue, to be a beacon of light.
That was former Secretary of Urban Housing and Development Ben Carson talking to students and community members at the University of Kentucky's College of Nursing building, where he reflects on his journey from surgeon to statesman and shares some of his hopes for the next 4 years.
Let's get rid of things that divide us, like DEI. You know, I'd much rather have excellence than DEI. If you have a surgeon, you want a DEI surgeon or you want an excellent surgeon?
With the event reaching full capacity, people from across the state traveled to see him speak, including one of his former patients, Allison Dole.
I'm here because Dr. Carson operated on me when I was 12 years old. Found out from a friend of mine he was going to be here, so I wanted to make sure I could come down, and if I had a chance to talk to him and introduce him to my daughter, who I named Carson after him. Then when he decided to go into politics, I was trying to tell everyone I knew that, hey, this guy knows what he's talking about.
Emma McDaniel, president of UK's chapter of Turning Point USA, shares some of her takeaways from the speech and why Dr. Carson has been such a big influence on students like her.
Have faith in the country. I know that sometimes it can be disappointing whether you're left or right. It doesn't matter. We all have our ups and downs with our viewpoints. I just hope that somebody took away something like, if they're struggling with their education, he proved that you can do it no matter what. If you're in poverty, you can rise up no matter what. He just had so many stereotypes, and then he went above and beyond and succeeded and talked about that, and it was just super awesome.
To find more information about Ben Carson's Surgeon to Statesman event, go to kykernel.com. This was Michael Henning reporting for the Kentucky Kernel.
It's a bird. No, it's a plane. Actually, it's the UK crane. As crews work on the foundation for the new health education building, students can't help but focus on one piece of machinery, lifting more than just materials, a construction crane that's really raising their spirits. Edward Smith has more on this high-flying story.
On a campus where construction and students often meet but don't necessarily want to, an unlikely figure is bridging the gap from around 300 feet up.
For lack of a better word, it's majestic in a way.
The machinery on the south part of campus has become more than a fixture of construction. In recent weeks, the crane has been both lifting materials and spirits.
The crane is like that, it's like seeing a really tall person in public. Like you can't help but stare.
Talk about the towering tool has gone beyond campus and spread to social media. Dozens of posts have personified the piece of equipment. One user asking if the crane ever gets lonely up there. Another person saying they feel bad for leaving the crane behind over break. And on Instagram, someone has even created an account for the crane with more than 150 people already following. So while the crane builds somewhat of a community, it's really here to help build UK's newest health education building, which will be the largest academic building on campus.
Didn't realize how much attention it would get, but it's quite the sight. I think you can see it from pretty much a lot of Lexington.
UK's Capital Construction Manager Keith Ingram welcomes the attention and says the crane plays a crucial role in the project.
The amount of weight that it can support in the area that it will serve, it had to be pretty substantial in order to support moving things up and down to the building.
Ingram also says another crane will go up in about a month. The bad news is they'll both be gone around the end of 2025, so students will eventually have to say their goodbyes. I'm Edward Smith for the Kentucky Kernel. For all things Kentucky Kernel, be sure to check out our website at kykernel.com.
And check out our social media platforms, including Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Spotify. Thanks for tuning in.
See ya.